The views expressed are not necessarily those of KSCJ and Powell Broadcasting Company. This program is not intended to replace the advice of doctors or other clinical providers. Consult with your practitioner to ensure the proper course of action for you.
Welcome to When Things Aren't Going Well on AM 1360, FM 94.9 KSCJ. This program is dedicated to your mental health wellness and brought to you by Family Services, a United Way partner agency. Here's your host, Art Silva.
Good morning, Siouxland, and welcome to When Things Aren't Going Well. This show is all about your mental health and how you can navigate that daily highway of life. We're going to introduce topics to you that you may find interesting and hopefully educate you more on a mental health arena. My name is Art Silva, and joining me is my co-host, Brenda Geisinger. We have a special topic and a special guest for you today. So, Brenda, would you take it away?
Absolutely. So this morning we have with us Rita DeYoung. She's probably known throughout the community as being an educator and has decades of experience with that. And we're going to talk about and learn about alternative education. What is it and why is it so important for kids to have an alternative learning opportunity? So Rita, if you want to give us a little bit of your background.
Yes, I'm Rita DeYoung, and I've been in education for over about a half a century. And I started out as a teacher and a coach, and then went to be an assistant principal, and then later on as a principal, and then recently working with the Department of Labor on working with 18 to 25-year-olds to help them get their high school diploma. During that time, I worked with alternative schools, worked with students that were in an alternative program, and that's how I've been involved with education. I also am serving on the board of Boys and Girls, so I'm very proud and happy to do that as well.
Well, you know, Rita, we appreciate all of your talents that you bring forward, and your experience in education is certainly one of the items that we benefited most from. So we're glad you're with us today, and we're going to talk about alternative education, what it is, what we do at Boys and Girls Home. But before we get there, let's back up a little bit. And how did COVID affect alternative education?
COVID made things different and actually made several schools or most schools go into kind of an alternative mode. COVID and the alternative mode is good for some people, very good for students, but not for all students. It wasn't ideal for teachers. Some teachers dealt with it well. It just made education have to be looked at differently.
Well, I think it was a learning experience for all of us. We had to change the way we did things and still try to get the same results. You know, at Boys and Girls Home, we've always been concerned with, the phrase out there, get everybody down the field, leave no one behind. But we found that some kids, the alternative learning took an alternative learning approach where we had that one-on-one, what we do with our kids in the classroom. All of a sudden, they're on an island and expect to do this alone by computer. Some did well. And others didn't. And then there was a catch-up mode. I think we noticed that our reading scores and our math scores had gone down during that COVID period with children. So we had to do a little bit of catch-up. You think we're back to where we need to be?
I don't know that we're back where we should be. Education should always be a top priority, I believe, throughout the nation, but especially in Iowa. Iowa has been known in the past being number one in the nation, and that's been quite a few years ago that was the case. But I think education always needs to be a concern. We need to constantly look at different ways to address different kids' needs.
I'm Art Silva, and you're listening to When Things Aren't Going Well. Along with me, my co-host Brenda Geisinger, and our guest today, Rita DeYoung, and we're discussing alternative education. Look, Rita, how has alternative education over the years changed?
Well, there's been a need for alternative education for forever, probably. But how it's been looked at, they realize that some students learn differently. There's different methods or ways to address them. For instance, in the case of some students do extremely well on online computer. Others do not do as well and need a lot of support if they're online learning. The alternative education, they used to do packets in classrooms. They no longer really do that. It's almost always a computer program, or it could be doing a variation of what the regular classroom is doing.
Interesting. Brenda, you want to add your comments with what you've seen with alternative education with the children who reside at Boys and Girls Home?
I think to add to the alternative education, one of the focuses that's really shifted as a nation And something that we as an agency have always done is, how does mental health impact a child's learning? So if a child is really struggling with depression or anxiety or other mental health needs, the impact that has on education really has to be understood. So what can we do? What coping skills can we teach this child so they can learn and really embrace that environment? So doing different activities, hands-on, different approaches really helps. Our program really has been stellar in that. And what's been refreshing is that everybody across the nation is really starting to understand, at a very young age, mental health impacts kids. We work with the Early Head Start program in town and the Head Start program. And looking already at 2-year-olds and 3-year-olds, one of our therapists consults over there. So what can we do to help kids thrive and succeed and learn?
Well, it takes it's everybody working, sharing the resources we have, because we're limited resources as a community. So we can share these resources and work collaboratively for the benefit of the child. That's all what we're doing. And I think this works very well in this community. The community is very receptive to that, and they really share. So, and the winners are the children. Let's talk about the teachers that teach alternative education. Rita, want to give me just fill me in on what that looks like?
Okay. At the Boys and Girls Home, we were very fortunate to have 2 strong teachers. One is special education, endorsed and certified, and the other one is regular education. But they very much, we communicate with the therapists. The therapists that work with these students on a daily basis inform us what's going on with them, and they give suggestions, and we just have a really good communication. Those teachers take that information and try to help the student with it. If it's a case of low self-esteem or they need some pride in what they're doing, we work through it that way. Our teachers also have areas that they individually help students. We divide into groups, 6 groups, so there's ranging from 3 to 5 students in a group. They have a reading session together. They could have a fine arts session, and at that time they can break things apart. But our teachers, we have 2 very strong teachers at this point. But we also have in the classroom what are called mental health technicians, and they also do a very good job of monitoring what's going on. The students are on computer because we have students that range from 6 to 17. They have every single subject that's possible for them between those ages. So they do online programming, Edgenuity, and MobiMax. But our MHTs watch very closely. They work with them, give them assistance, but our teachers are in the classroom at all times to assist too.
And we're in sync, I believe, with the Sioux City school system and what they do in their curriculum.
We follow Sioux City schools. We are associated with them in a way that we turn in our information to them, and they use that to return in reports to, like, the state.
So with our children, where do they go after they've been with us for their alternative education for a period? Do they migrate out of the program? What happens when they leave Boys and Girls Home?
Okay, to give you an example, we had a young lady who was an 8th grader, and I should explain, we have school 50 weeks a year, where a normal school or the typical school year is 36 weeks. We have 50 weeks of school. And this young lady left us, finished up her 8th grade year in May, but over the summer and before June, July, and August, she was able to accumulate several credits. And that student now entered a freshman class here in Sioux City and had 8 credits when she entered as what would normally be her freshman year. And those credits were credits along the line of math, English, science, and they're very endorsed, certified credits that are needed to complete her requirements for graduation.
So would it be fair to say that we helped her get over the hump?
We got her shot a little bit ahead of schedule.
I love it.
Which is great.
I love it.
Because our goal is to keep them at least on schedule, but if we can get them a little ahead of schedule, that's even better.
Perfect. Well, we're coming up on our break right now, so we want you to grab another cup of coffee, glass of juice, and don't touch that dial. We'll be right back with more When Things Aren't Going Well, right here on 1360 AM, 90.9 FM, KSCJ.
Welcome back to When Things Aren't Going Well on KSCJ. Here's Art Silva.
Welcome back to When Things Aren't Going Well. I'm Art Silva along with Brenda Geisinger and Rita DeYoung. And today we're talking about alternative education. Let's get back to our discussion. And we're talking about the classroom environment. Class size. That seems to be an issue in schools. What's your class size?
The largest our class could be is 15. With that 15 comes automatically 2 mental health therapists. And we have a teacher that can be in each classroom, but we also have some supplementary help. We have someone coming in to help with writing, and they meet with students one-on-one to help with, they're using the University of Kansas writing strategies and help them organize their writing. We have some of our specialties. We have outside people. We've had people come in for art, for visual arts. We've had Paula Crandall come in several times. She does a wonderful job working. She's a former art teacher and principal in the Sioux City school system. We try to bring in outside people that can actually work with them. The class size is no more than 15, and usually it's less than 15. And when we divide into groups, actually there's probably more like 10 in the classroom at a time, because there's a part of the class that is doing specialties, such as art, reading, physical education.
The great program and the attention that the children get. You can kind of slow it down, take a little time out, let Johnny, Susie catch up, or get more people involved with Johnny and Susie's problem. And how do we get them there? It's a wonderful program, and our kids are very, very fortunate, and they succeed from this program. Brenda, these are your children. So how do you feel as a mom? You happy with the education going on?
I think, they're my children. I think they're everybody's children in the building, and the staff. It's a phenomenal work that everybody does, and it's a team effort. And included in that team, really is the community. Rita really gets involved with, people at Lewis and Clark and the Iowa State Extension. I don't know if you want to talk about that and those learning environments that we create as in addition to what we do.
Yeah, I tell you, Lewis and Clark Interpretive Center has been wonderful. We actually go there twice a month, and Amanda Gibson, an amazing teacher there, puts together a program. We try to do some activities, whether it's an art activity or a writing activity, to prepare for the trip, and then we follow up with other activities afterwards. We did the whole journey of discovery with them last year, and this year we're going to do kind of American history all the way through. But this is an enrichment program for our social studies or history. And we also have Iowa State University. Christine comes in. She comes in twice a month, and she does science enrichment activities. So we're very lucky that way. We've also had the Carpenters Union come in, and we've built step stools. We've built birdhouses. They've been very good to work with. They work really well with our students.
They're coming back next week, aren't they?
Yes.
I want to go over and see this.
Yes.
They're wonderful.
They came with volunteers, and we have a ratio of like 1 to 2 students because they have so many volunteers come. We're very grateful to them as well. And the community lets us go to outings like we've been to the Railroad Museum, Art Center, Sioux City Museum. We went to a dairy farm, which was just amazing, huge dairy farm that was done through Iowa State Extension. We've just been very fortunate. The community steps up and lets us be part of what's going on in the community.
Well, I think you do an excellent job there because there's a lot of logistics involved when we move our kids around. Usually they have to be in a situation where it's just them. But it's when they get out, and I hear about what's going on over at the Lewis and Clark, and that is outstanding to get that one-on-one kind of interpretation of our history. And they ask questions. The kids do step up, so it's kind of like getting all your, I hate to say this, but all your chicks together in the nest and getting the whole nest across the street. Mm-hmm. And they get the other street, say, hey, we figured this out. Now let's go on. Love these kids. You could see that in their eyes when the light bulb clicks. And we got some pretty smart kids. I remember we had a while ago, Brenda, didn't we have kids trying to hack the computer in the school?
Yeah, our kids are very creative, and they know things. Me as an older timer is like, what?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fun, it's energizing, and, like I said, it takes the whole community and people understanding what we do and how it helps kids with their mental health and succeed in life.
We saw that. We wanted to take that talent, that interest, and grow it. And out of that came Legos and the computerized Legos. As you put them together and you make your own thing, kids went nuts over that. So, our kids are great children, and we find a way to educate them, getting around the little speed bumps that we have to do with every little child. And they're wonderful kids. Having that mental health technician in the class, that's like the old teacher's aide. Am I wrong? I was a teacher by degree.
Yes.
So it's in my heart and what you do for the children and leading them. Rita, you just don't lead them. They thrive underneath you. These kids, and you just talked about the outdoor activities. I love the 4-H help that comes in there. I learn a lot of things. So maybe I'm not smarter than a 5th grader because they're learning a lot. It's really, really good. So I want to commend you on that program. I'd like to just move over a little bit and talk about we don't have our school in open right now, and that's our alternative school. We ran a school in conjunction with the school communities around Siouxland. We brought kids in from as far away as 45 miles every day that came for our program, and these children went back and graduated from their high school. So we got a good success record. However, the school isn't open right now. We're building a new school. We'd like to open it again, but we need teachers. And I think the common denominator that we have with our teachers right now is the compassion and the heart. And the teachers get help in the classroom. And the teachers feel as they're getting their their lessons accomplished because they have help. The diversions are out of there. These kids are here to learn, and we'll take our time teaching them. So we want to open that school up. Can you give me a plug for teachers?
Well, I tell you, the teachers we have are amazing. And they each have their own special areas of talent. But when we were talking about our students being talented, for instance, we have students that are very much into theater. And our new teacher, Benji, has been helping. And we're starting readers theater and that type of thing. And George is real into reading, so we do a lot of reading, and we supplement that with writing and art. I would say the kind of teacher we need to expand and have an opportunity, somebody who cares about kids and care about them being successful, and knowing that you're going to have to help them where they're at, not just start where you want to start, but start where they're at and work from there.
Well, I guess this brings me up to the next question. What are the rewards for the child and the teacher?
Well, the children, when they're successful, and they have success every day, and they just feel better about themselves. They feel some self-pride, and I'm not talking about arrogance, but I'm talking about self-pride.
Confidence.
Yes, and that confidence can take them on to further, and they really want to thank people for that. When you do something for them, they're very thankful. When it comes for the teachers and the staff, it's seeing them be successful, having good communication between the therapists, the MHTs, the teachers, to see that together we're a team that are making students successful and getting them on to the next step. Hopefully to have them return to their home or to their home school, and that they'll be successful there as well.
Well, I got to tell you, this has been a most interesting conversation, and I learned a lot. And I'll tell you, when it's parent-teacher night, Brenda will be there, and she'll be talking about all the kids and how they're all doing. So this has been a great conversation, Rita. Thank you for sharing. We're coming up on the end of our show, and every week we like to end our show with a little humor because humor is good for the soul. So since it's back to school time, we're going to talk about some of the parental excuses notes. So here are some of the notes that have come in, not to our school, but just in general. Okay. Dear school principal, please excuse John from being absent on January 28th, 29th, 30, 31, 32, and also 33. Okay, here we go. Please excuse Diana. Please excuse Johnny for being late. It was his father's fault. Excuse Gloria. She's been under the doctor. These are some of the notes. Carlos was absent yesterday because he was playing football. He was hitting the growing pot. And let's see, one more I'll give you to. Let's see. Please excuse Sarah for being absent. She was sick and I had her shot. Well, those are some of the excuses coming in right now, and just share that with you. It's been a great show. Thank you again, Rita. I want to thank Brenda. Thank our listening audience. We'll be back next Saturday morning right here at 7 a.m. on 1360 a.m. 94.9 FM, KSCJ. And in the interim, go visit Stuff at the old Indian Hill Shopping Plaza, having great sales. They're just having a great year, great product at a great price, great value. Stuff, the Thrift Teak. Also, we are looking for therapists and teachers. So if you have an interest, please give our HR manager a call at 293-4700. Boys and Girls Home is a great place to work, and you feel the fulfillment you get from the job is just simply outstanding. So with that, we're going to pass on a good week. We want you to go out and do your homework this week, and that is go out and have a good laugh. Peace be with you.
Happy trails to you until we meet again. Happy trails to you. Keep smiling until then. Happy trails to you till we meet again.
For more information on the services provided by Boys and Girls Home and Family Services, see them online at boysandgirlshomeiowa.org. Or you can call 712-293-4700 to get more information about family services, residential treatment, the Opportunity School, the Siouxland Family Center, and more. At Boys and Girls Home and Family Services, we change lives.